That was from the first day after the election results appeared several years ago. We say first we had several months of thinking what's the best strategy. We did a lot of lobby work towards the responsible ministers and entities for handling the port, like for example the border control. This is the customs, it's the Minister of Finance. We had also the visit of Mr. Barnier in Zeebrugge. My CEO spoke in the European Parliament, in the Belgian Parliament, Flemish Parliament, and in the Palace of Westminster. So we did our work that we were prepared to handle a lot of traffic that would come from the United Kingdom. So awareness raising, communication with everybody. And we said also after, say, the first year, it's important that the cargo flow can be followed electronically. So we did an important work in a port community system through digitization. We had also traffic plans, temporary parking spaces, and digital road signs. Now, our port community system, so you see what's our model. You see if this afternoon at 2 o'clock you have your order picking, then you have your transit time, and the next morning, tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the morning, you are in the London area, central areas in the UK, Birmingham and Manchester. It's at between 10 and 12 o'clock. And at tea time in 3 o'clock, you are in Glasgow. Now, here you see the importance of the RoRo handling in the port of Zeebrugge. So you see Rotterdam is first, then Zeebrugge, and then you go further down. You see we have also done investments in reliable cargo material. We have the reliable material. You see there landing bridge, even if this is the largest landing bridge in the world with different lanes. And so the port community system was an important investment. We did it and we were prepared. So on January the 1st, it worked. And you see, you have to, first of all, you have to make a booking. Then you receive a booking number and you have a customs notification, and then you receive a green light. So it's the whole, you see there all the stakeholders that are implemented. So it's not only on the Belgian side, but also on the UK side, so that we can offer the market a very reliable supply chain using our digital data platform. Now, important in the whole issue is also to have a border control post. We did it already a long time ago in tempore non suspecto. In 2009, we have built a border control post. And at that time, we had the IT that it was necessary to build it for our Chinese cargo coming into the port of Zeebrugge. So we had no idea at all at that time that more than 40% of our total cargo volume would come in later on. And that's what happened on January the 1st. It's all cargo from United Kingdom. And we had the good idea to have some reserve capacity when we built it. So now we have sufficient place to handle all the incoming freight from the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom is now a third country. Now we have a state-of-the-art logistical platform, as I have explained to you. And when you need to find more news on our what we are doing, you have questions, you can find quite a lot of things on all our publications that are available through our website, our mail addresses, on all social media. And so we stay at your service to provide you with the necessary information. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Justin, I'm handing over to you.
Thank you. So I'm just in the process, so
yeah.
Hopefully you can see my presentation too.
Yes, it's just coming through. We've got it.
Okay, thank you. Well, firstly, I'd like to thank the sponsors, including Flanders Investment and Trade, for inviting me to speak at this event. I guess to start off with, Anny very eloquently explained the history between the UK and Belgium, but in the famous words of the Monty Python sketch, what has Belgium ever done for us? Well, of course, as well as the excellent beer and delicious waffles, you may be interested to know that the Hollywood screen legend Audrey Hepburn was actually born in Belgium. The Belgians also invented the saxophone in 1846. And as a Liverpool supporter, it really pains me to talk about Kevin De Bruyne. He seems to be getting a lot of airtime, but I don't think anyone would really know who Divock Origi was. But yes, of course, we have a lot of Belgian football players in the Premier League as well. There's a very special relationship between the Port of Antwerp and the UK. These are our statistics actually from 2019. The UK is actually our second largest trading partner. In 2019, just over 15 million tons of cargo moved between the Port of Antwerp and the UK. I think there's some interference coming through, but if you can still hear me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, clearly, liquid bulk is a significant proportion of that, and the Port of Antwerp is the largest chemical cluster in Europe. But I think the other important component are our container traffic. The key trades between Antwerp and the UK, without a shadow of a doubt, is e-commerce. Pretty much anything that you can buy online through platforms such as Amazon and eBay, Alibaba. So furniture, white goods, consumer electronics, also chemicals. Very relevant at the moment, pharmaceuticals and healthcare products. But there's also a large movement of food and beverages, chill chain products, and of course, break bulk such as steel. There are lots of challenges in today's international supply chain. Of course, we're all still experiencing the impact of COVID. Before that, we had Brexit. But there are also wider challenges, particularly around sustainability. So why use the Port of Antwerp for the flow of your goods? The Port of Antwerp is Belgium's largest economic driver, generating almost 5% of GDP. There are over 1,000 companies working on the Port of Antwerp, and we're an employer of over 144,000 jobs. In 2020, we handled 238 million tons of freight, and the port estate is somewhere in the region of 12,000 hectares. For those of you that have been, that is twice the size of Manhattan. So what sets Antwerp aside from some of the other ports in the range? We have maritime connections to over 1,000 ports globally. We truly are a global hub port. Very different to the port that Patrick described a few moments ago in Zeebrugge as a coastal port. The Port of Antwerp, we're an inland port, 80 kilometres in fact. So we're also 80 kilometres closer to the main European markets. We're a gateway to a huge consumer market, and I won't repeat some of the statistics on the screen, but you can say within 2 days, we have access to a considerable part of the European market. We're very centrally located, just 50 kilometres from Bruges, from Brussels, but also very close to some of the other major European capitals. I think the other thing that sets Antwerp apart is our excellent connectivity, our inland connectivity to the remainder of the European market. So we have an extensive barge offering with over 1,000 barge calls a week to 90 European destinations in 7 European countries. Similarly, we have an extensive rail work with over 220 direct rail shuttles per week to over 70 destinations in 20 countries. We also have, again, very much like Patrick showed, a very strong short sea offering with short sea connections to the rest of Europe and also to the Mediterranean. Focusing specifically on the UK, we have connections into the UK and Ireland, both on the east coast, in the south, and on the west coast. And just on this slide, some of the major operators are listed. We can provide more details of those. The other big factor about the Port of Antwerp is that your cargo is in good hands. We have a very unique offering of cargo handling, but we're also an extensive logistics platform, and we also have a significant industrial hub within the port complex. Cargo is king at the Port of Antwerp. We handle almost every type of commodity that you can think of. And to do this, we have facilities in place. So as an example, we have 5 deep sea container terminals, 12 dry bulk terminals, and we have over 6.3 million square meters of covered storage. And I know that Sultan Demir will be talking about the importance of warehousing after this presentation. In addition to the infrastructure, we also provide the services. So we have a number of steel service centres, vehicle service centres, and warehousing activities where all manner of added value services are offered. The third factor with the Port of Antwerp is about trade facilitation. Our aim, we want to perform as a reliable supply chain partner for the people that use, or the shippers that use the Port of Antwerp. So we work in collaboration with the services and authorities, both on the port foreland and on the aftershore. Here you can see the benefits of the European Customs Union. So the free movement of goods in the EU after customs clearance has taken place in Antwerp. And we have a very fast and efficient import process. Again, very similar to the slide that Patrick showed in terms of the clearances for Zeebrugge. We also have invested in border inspection posts. We have we call it a one-stop shop. So this one is on the left bank. We also have one on the right bank of the River Scheldt. And in one single location, those goods that are called for inspection can pass through customs, also the federal food agencies, and also the Belgian federal police. Just another slide here, just showing the extensive bonded warehousing that we have on the port. And I think trying to close the presentation, we're also a port for the future. We're very much engaged in the energy transition and in circular economy. We have aspirations of being a climate neutral port, and we are active in almost all aspects of energy change and energy transition, whether that's our 69 wind turbines, the fact that we're actively involved in the import of green hydrogen. We're also working with methanol. We have a steam circuit system called a Cluse, which takes excess steam from the industry on the port and feeds into the city of Antwerp. As I say, we are a port for the future, and we have designated a zone on the port. We've called it our next gen district, and this area is very specifically set aside for companies that are working in the sustainable circular economy market. Here's an overview of the site. It's 80 hectares. It has access for road, waterside and rail. There are also a number of incentives for companies that are seeking to develop on this site. But rather than looking at a slide, I have a short video to play to you.
This is where innovators bring their vision to life, setting an example for real change. A place for pioneers who always see possibilities, industry innovators that show us we can do things differently, startups that dare to try something new. Next Gen District offers pioneers room to grow, right in the heart of Europe. There for those who are ready to make a difference. Are you ready to be part of it?
So that was a lot of slides in a very short amount of time. I appreciate there's a lot to take in. Well, thank you very much for listening, and I'll hand the presentation back to Anny.
Thank you very much, Justin, for this really very nice view of Antwerp from me, who am from Antwerp. So again, thank you. And I'd like to ask Bert to come online and take over from you. Hi, Bert.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
First of all, thank you for giving us an opportunity to share the position of the Belgian ports and airports. So I would like to have a little different angle than of course the seaports have, by showing you the position of Liège Airport. So basically, and I'll pop it on the screen right now. We take, of course, a different type of cargo. So please tell me if you have the full screen.
Oh, there, the slide is here.
Good. So what you see there is the way we present ourselves as a multimodal and e-commerce air logistics hub. So there might be some contradiction there. We say that we're an air logistics hub and we're a multimodal hub, but you'll see down the road in the presentation what that means and how we position as a point from where you enter into the European market, basically. So the location, everybody is shown the location. So why am I showing this again? Because for us, we're mainly in the fast moving products. So we have a specific focus on express and e-commerce. So the road network towards neighboring countries is really, really important. We are the last step in a fast moving chain before you go into retail or into the B2C where we are the consumers, the direct consumers. So second thing I want to present you is our clients. We will focus on all of them, but I want to start with it because this explains why we do things and why who we want to attract. Do we want to attract airlines? Yes, that's interesting. Do we want to attract logistic companies? Of course, it's interesting, but who do we really want to attract is the product. So if the product is happy during its time here and its transit time and the way it's being handled, logistic company will follow, and I've seen that in all are a few companies that are from the UK that took the decision to come to Liège a few years to follow their consumer, to follow their customers, and have a point where they distribute into Europe. So the global connectivity. So a number of airlines connect us with the world. That is like many airports. The specific one, what this one is that we don't have passengers, or we hardly have any passengers. So 99% of what we do is cargo. So in the recent crisis, one of the biggest issue for air cargo was that air cargo was traveling for around 50% in the bellies of passenger aircraft. So a lot of airports have been hit really, really hard because their cargo volumes depend on the availability of passenger flights For us, it's the contrary. So we don't have passenger flights. So all cargo flights, which were carrying 50% of the global volumes in the past, now they carry almost 100%. So the demand for air cargo on specific freighters is even higher than before. So that gives us this network. So we have a good balance between east and west and north and south. Every origin and every destination has a specific type of cargo. But you'll see that the list of the Chinese cities to which we connect to, and the US is the biggest one. So 35% of our business is in Asia, 35% is the Americas, and the rest is in the middle. So we have a good geographical spread. So what I'm presenting to you today is maybe not how to bring UK goods into Europe, but how to follow the customers that you may have in the UK that also want to have a footprint in Europe, how to follow them, or how to offer them a solution on the mainland. I think that's more the focus what I present. Connectivity. So as I said, it's multimodal. Sea freight coming in via Antwerp, road freight going all over Europe, even coming in from China. More than 100 connectivities per day by air, and 4 Chinese cities that we connect by rail. So the days that we were only an airport have been behind us since a few years. And so it is a key strategy to become more and more a platform where any type of commodity and any type of transport mode is welcomed in the exactly same way. So this is for the rail. There's 4 cities. In the beginning, the import was mainly the driving this growth. Now we've come almost to a point where we have a balance between import and export. Some of the trains that come in, the one from Chengdu, he comes in, he goes on to a barge, and he goes to the UK. So it's a full UK train, we would call it. So that's your connectivity there. Top 10 in Europe, we're position number 6. So if I look at the UK, London obviously is in the top 5, but has taken a hard hit last year and is still not back on its feet. So the difference between Liège and London is only 30,000 tons, which is approximately 1 week or 1 week and a half of tonnage. So we're playing in terms of cargo volumes in the same area. Growth has been tremendous that I told you. The last few years, the developments with the UK have been very beneficial to us, because in the e-commerce market, you have to know that the UK has been for a very, very, very long time the natural arriving point for parcels to arrive and then going into the UK, which is a huge market, but then also going into Europe, but having UK as a first touch point. That dynamic has been changed in the last few years. So now UK flows mainly fly into the UK, but the mainland flows, they fly in somewhere else. And so that has been a big growth factor. Specifically on e-commerce, this is a slide to show you 2 things. You see the logo of National Customs there. The cooperation we have with customs is pretty extraordinary here, I would say. They have been a business enabler since a very long time for us. And in the e-commerce development, which has been now going around for 5, 6, 7 years, they've also played a tremendous role. The second thing you see here is the number of parcels, which is well, I will not say exploding, because that doesn't sound really well, but it's growing really fast. And if we're looking at 2021, again, we're doing a ×2 number. So the growth is still really hard. I want to stay with this customs for a moment, because it's an explanation why for the European market Liège is being used, because the customs do 24/7. That might sound normal, but on a 7-day per week, 24 hours inspection, if you really dig down into details of every hub, it's not that common. Pre-clearance, automated arrival, and 100% digital declaration. So it's all measures that have been taken for a very, very fast transit time for cargo. Second thing, we've created a free zone around the airport where you do not have custom formalities for transfer within the zone. So going from airport into different areas around this, both for rail and for air, is done without any customs inspection, therefore not being not slowing down the flow and not incurring costs that you would have to do for these transactions, and that all in a digital way. Second part, after the start of the e-commerce as a transit hub, the fulfillment is the next big thing. More and more cargo parcels or parcels are being put in Europe even before they're sold. For Amazon, that's been going on for years and years. But for the big Chinese, the fast-growing Chinese web platforms, that was not done before. So the fulfillment is really taking a fast development, and we see really as a trigger for growth. Some UK companies very active in fulfillment have set up base here in the last few years, so they can testify the major importance of it. One big thing coming this year, Cainiao, which may ring a bell or not, but that's the logistics arm of the Alibaba group. They're setting up a hub here, and they're opening it in September. So that's going to be another big development for the airport. Second part, and that's the last commodity I want to highlight specifically, is humanitarian and pharma. So we've been welcoming masks for the last 12 months, more masks than we could ever process, millions and billions even, for the whole of Europe. We've done that together with the World Food Programme and together with a lot of governments here in Europe that needed these masks to be transited very fast. Then on the outbound, it's more the humanitarian and relief logistics. So there, the big humanitarian organizations shipping around the world, they're located, well, you see on the screen. So what usually happens with humanitarian logistics is that they combine the sourcing in Europe, which you see on the screen, with sourcing from China or from well, at least East Asia. And that gets consolidated and then shipped into development countries. So there, we've played an important role in the last 12 months. So to summarize, the reasons for success, why do people come to Liège? We have a focus on cargo and cargo only. For people in ports, that's normal. For airports, that's not so common. 24/7 without any restrictions. And then a logistics platform run by professionals, by logistics. So we are logistics guys trying to run an airport instead of airport guys trying to understand logistics. And I think that makes a very, very big difference when speaking to customers or when trying to create an environment where logistics comes first. A full integration between air, sea, rail, and road. That's really important, and it's facilitating life around here. And then a controlled, protected environment. That means the relation with the society around us, with neighbors, with the environment. So we have a well-balanced growth, which looks like this. So you see a lot of green on the screen, but we have a cargo zone on the north and a cargo zone on the south, and we have an east logistics park, which you already see. Now, if we move to the plan for the coming years, so you see that there's more than 300 hectares of land in development, and those will all become logistics parks in the coming years. So that will be how it looks like in a number of years. So everything you see on the screen here is cargo. So there is very little point where some passengers are flown. So what I would want to say is, this is a place that have been developing quite fast in the past, but the idea, and we're pretty confident that this growth will be ongoing for numerous years to come. And so that we're a future-proof logistics platform. So we welcome you at any given moment to come and look at it and see if it makes sense for you guys too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bert. I'm sure that your presentation has been quite an eye-opener for a lot of us. We're all very much aware of the importance of Zeebrugge and of course Antwerp, but the development that you are realizing in Liège is really astonishing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sultan, we have reached the part about warehousing, so I'd like to invite you to come onto the screen and give us some explanations about the warehousing situation in Belgium.
Yes. Slide. So I don't know how I can put myself on the big screen, but I have the honor to close this breakout session on logistics and share my insights on warehousing in Belgium. Well, warehousing is a requirement for all businesses that manufacture, import, export, or transport.
I think we're having some problems with...
You can't see me, or?
We can see you, but we can't hear you talk. You stop. And it might be that...
I see that I have unstable internet connection, so my apologies for that. I'll try to repeat what I said earlier. So every business professional knows that when a customer places an order, the only thing he's concerned about is the delivery of their products. So they want timely delivery and quality services, and any potential fulfillment issue is not their concern, but it's yours. So the last thing that you want as a business owner is to lose your long-term client or a sale because you couldn't fulfill an order. So when choosing a warehouse location, you want to look at a location that will make the most sense for your operations. This can either be a location that can be easily accessed by your suppliers, or one that is in your target market. So there are two important questions that you need yourself when choosing a warehouse location. First, where to do your warehousing. Choosing the right warehouse location can make all the difference in how effective, efficient, and in the end, how profitable your company is. Any new warehouse should be as close as possible to your major suppliers, your producers, and of course your customers, because this will help reduce lead times and decrease transportation costs. And a second important question that you need to ask is, will do your warehousing? Will you do it yourself, or will you outsource the real estate so that you can focus on your core activities? So if you're considering to have a foothold on the European continent, Belgium should definitely be on your shortlist, because in Belgium you can find the right logistic partners who can help you streamline your supply chain and cut costs in your fulfillment operations. I can confidently say that a lot of international companies, both big and small, have chosen Belgium as their distribution and warehousing hub to serve their clients on not only because of its proximity to major consumer centers, but also because of the availability of the infrastructure in terms of transportation and, of course, warehousing facilities. So as a business owner, you have two options to start warehousing services in Belgium. Either you set up or start your own warehouse facility, But the easiest and fastest and also the cheapest way is to outsource your warehousing activities to a third-party logistics service provider who will stock your goods, basically represent you, perform value-added services and logistics, and in the end, of course, ship the goods to the end customer. Whether you need a traditional warehouse, cross-docking, pharmaceutical or cold storage facilities, you can find there's a warehousing solution for your specific need for space and also type of business, whether temporary or permanent. And you can find a warehouse location where a connection between road, ship, rail, and air transportation can be established. So modes can complement one another in terms of speed, accessibility, frequency. And of course, you don't need to have Amazon-like warehouse facilities to hit your sales targets. You can start very small in the beginning, and warehouse for stocking your goods will just suffice. Evolve into a European or a regional distribution center. What is more is that you can rent a warehouse space at a very competitive price. The prime rent for warehousing in Belgium is one of the lowest compared to neighboring countries. We're talking about rent prices as low as 43 to 48 euros per square meter per year, and you only pay for what you use. And a final element that it's even more critical than a physical location and costs is, of course, labor affordability at your new warehouse location. In many regions, labor market has shrunk and the use of flexible labor has become more difficult. In Belgium, however, you can find a large pool of talented and productive logistics workforce. Let me illustrate this with one example. Mate.com chose the logistics company Katoen for its warehouse storage, and one of the reasons was its flexibility. Katoen works round the clock, which offers, of course, advantages of scale. And at peak periods, it can shift personnel from one warehouse to the other. And this flexibility was an important factor for Mate.com. Well, I would like to conclude my short intervention on warehousing with one key message, and that is that you are more than welcome in Belgium. Experts from both public and private organizations will be happy to advise and assist you in finding the right warehousing solution for your business, be it temporary or permanent. So these were in 5 minutes the key insights and elements that I can give you about warehousing possibilities in Belgium. The main message is everything is possible. There are very flexible solutions. I would say come and talk to us or another logistic expert. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you, Sultan. Thank you, Bert. Thank you, Justin, and thank you, Patrick. From your very clear explanations, we can definitely remember that there is a huge potential in our various ports, seaports or airports, and as well the warehousing facilities in Belgium. A potential which, by the way, is also supported by the multimodal network of roads, air, rail and waterways, guaranteeing a professional and speedy transit to the rest of Europe, making Belgium actually your preferred gateway to the EU. The changes that have taken place since the 1st of January this year have created a number of obstructions. But as in the past, we have found a number of solutions for many of these obstacles. And at this point, and many of you, or various of you have already done this as well, I would like to draw the attention to the willingness of the Belgian officials to work with Belgian and UK companies to bring about practical solutions for the issues which have been created by the change of status of the UK within the EU. In our own company, we have been working with government officials for quite a while, because we have set up a model of logistical goods corridor through Belgium. And our goal is to facilitate from the UK to the EU the goods transport with a minimal cost increase through the incorporation of a Belgian company. There's three basic things we have continuously kept in mind, and I'd like to just mention that before we go to the wind-up, or to the questions actually before the wind-up, and that's the fact that we have been concentrating at keeping the managerial and operational control of the Belgian company in the UK. The UK resident director is actually in charge of the Belgian company. We also are adamant about keeping the financial control and even the financial gains in the UK, and in keeping the workforce activity in the UK. We are not aiming at EU hiring and UK firing. This is, of course, a lot less applicable to the big companies that you've been talking about, but we are concentrating on the small companies and the many thousands actually of small companies in the UK who have been exporting through to the EU for many, many years and find themselves now in real trouble. Setting up a Belgian company, controlling the Belgian company from the UK, actually selling the goods from the UK company to the Belgian company is a way for the UK companies to completely control their continuation of their exporting into the EU. There's also many ways of consolidating the transport of these goods. In that way, there will be, and there are already, because we're doing it, there are a lot less costs, because, for instance, you can go to a one customs declaration instead of 60, which makes a huge difference. So I would like to stop here with one example as well of how important the help of the Belgian officials is. And now I'm specifically talking about VAT. On March the 10th, one of our customers phoned and informed us that they were preparing a shipment to Belgium for 400,000 euro in goods. And they asked, what can you do to help us? With the 110,000 VAT we'll have to pay when we get into the country. Well, the officials were there to help us. And on March the 26th, when the goods arrived in Belgium, the required license was in place, VAT was deferred, they didn't have to pay the 110,000 euros. We knew it could be done. The how it could be done, we learned from the officials. And now we're getting to question 2.